so got a decent day for it.
It's actually very nice.
All right, folks, I'm gonna call this meeting of the Munster Plan Commission to order for Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. Please set your phones on stun and let's stand for a moment of silence in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mendoza, nice to see you. Will you call roll, please?
Counselor Shinton. Here. Counselor Hopper.
Here.
Counselor Nellon.
Here.
Commissioner Brandon.
Here.
Commissioner Johns is not in today. Commissioner Rathman.
Here.
And Commissioner Baker.
Present. We have a quorum. Next up is the approval of minutes from March 10th, 2026.
So moved.
There's a motion to move what, Councilman?
Approve the amendment.
Approval of the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're out there. No public hearings today. Can't, are you sure? Next up is the preliminary hearing, which is PC 26-002, a PUD amendment. Bill Holohan of Absolute Advertising on behalf of Franciscan Health Munster requests to amend the Franciscan Alliance Land Unit Development PUD to include revisions to the sign standards at 701 Superior Avenue. Mr. Mendoza, we've seen this one before, signage now.
Correct. About 2.5 years ago, the project site came in and requested a vertical and a horizontal expansion of their buildings. There was an amendment to PUD. The request for that at that time was due to FAA regulations restricting their height. And so they were proposing a limited amount of height, and then to compensate for the additional square footage requested or needed for their expansion, they were looking at the vertical expansion. And they are near complete or in the process of near complete for these two structures, and they're looking to update their signage to help the visitors for the hospital campus with new signage. They are proposing to amend the PUD to incorporate sign standards as part of this update. And so they are presenting to you amendments to the PUD, which offers sign code classifications for them. And this is a preliminary hearing, which would need to be set for a public hearing. Staff report has some items for question and discussion at some point during the presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Mendoza? I'm not gonna let him off the hook. So from a PUD perspective, isn't it usually, at what point are we looking at signs? Is it when the entire plan is approved or just when they decide to come through and bring up that particular subject matter?
Ideally, that should be incorporated at the time that the PUD in its entirety is presented. However, this was done 2.5 years ago, not under my watch, and so that's why you have this before you now.
It's been the practice, if you recall, right, to have complete standards approved. That's what we're trying to change.
Thank you. Mr. Raffle.
Sergio, looking at all these signs, how far does it differ from the current sign code?
I did not create a tablet or a spreadsheet for that, but that's not part of those staff report.
Because every PUD has its own
Well, I understand
signage
it, but
requirements.
it would be nice to know how far it differentiates from what the current code is and how much we're looking to
I would
go above and beyond
recommend
the current.
that
code.
you advise the applicant or the petitioner to outline that for you at the public hearing.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for staff? Either none, is there somebody to speak on behalf of the petitioner?
Everyone's looking at you.
Please, please state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name is Bill Hollahan with Absolute Advertising, 14052 West 90th Avenue, St. John, Indiana, 46373.
Okay, Mr. Hallahan, is that correct?
Yes, Hollahan, very good.
Okay, thank you. So, are you gonna speak on the location of this, or you're just a vendor who's putting up the signs per the request of Franciscan?
Yeah, I'm the vendor that is going to be putting the sign up, but if there's anything that I can speak to and relate to, I'd be more than happy.
Thank you.
We also have a representative from Ton and Blank who's doing the construction of the building. And she is also here in case there's if there's any questions that might be needed answered.
Thank you. Okay, that's the presentation. So, back to the commission. Any questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, I would like the petitioner to present a package next month of signage that would meet the current sign code.
Mr. Rathman, unfortunately, you cannot do that.
Okay.
Petition that's in front of you.
Yeah.
Is for their request, and
Okay.
especially in the timelines that are now imposed by the state statute. The option is not to go back and forth with the petitioner.
So I can just vote no if I.
And that's your option when it comes down to that. It's the petition, the request that is there, and once they have a valid petition to move forward, that's what is in front of you now. So I apologize, but
That's okay. I can look at the current sign code, and see it. And
Yeah.
vote
I mean,
next month
that can
based
be
on
part
current
of
sign
their, that can be part of their, presentation, but it's not a situation where, let me rephrase that. You can ask them to do that as part of it, but it's not where there can be, a delay in the process for that to take place.
code.
So if
this
they
wasn't-
came back and didn't do it,
So if this wasn't the PUD, this would have to obviously follow the sign code, right?
unless they ask for variance through. the
Sure,
state.
sure.
Correct. And it would be the same situation that if this is applicable across the board with any petition, is that, because of those timeframes, it's what is in front of you. So the ability to ask them to provide more, give you more information or other stuff, it's on the application, it's on them for what they present.
Is it our duty to set a public hearing? Could you continue and ask the?
You cannot.
Okay.
Once they are, that's part of what the statute changed, is it does not provide for those lags to
When did
happen.
that statute change?
The end of last year. And so it's the applicability of, from the point that the application is complete to be able to kind of push that forward. And so it doesn't allow for those things to get kind of bogged down in the systems, really. What I believe is the whole, focus, I think, of so many changes in the code had to do on development.
So as a board of, on the planning commission as the board, when you have a new PUD amendment that's coming in front of us with a new state law that was passed, went into effect beginning of this year, after it was passed last year. Is there a hardship you gotta prove then for this? Is it just a yes or no vote, whether if you like the sign package or don't like the sign package, that's all you gotta,
Well,
what's the parameters on approving this that doesn't meet the sign code of town compared to not approving it?
well, that's the whole point of a PUD.
Okay.
Is the PUD is designed, to create, right, standards applicable for specific development that is different from, well, let me rephrase that. It doesn't fit the zoning standards for specific zoning districts, so it could be a combination of a bunch of others, right? Or something completely new, but the fact is that you're creating its own zoning district. So if you want, individually or collectively for that to be, for those items to match exactly, that's, your prerogative. For where a PUD is concerned, you're not obligated. So is in the sense of like hardship or something like that, doesn't have to be shown, but at the same time, you don't have to have that as grounds either. Just has to meet the, factors and considerations of, the whole development as a whole, that you're considering all those factors.
Can you use other factors in town in your decision-making process based off of the same typical businesses, signage and stuff? But as basis, there's certain cases that, okay, you have it's probably the same, or you look at the whole sign code and in other parcels that maybe fit the same kind of medical uses based on existing signage. Is that what you have?
You are not bound either way.
Okay. So I can do my home.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make sure I'm good.
So, sir, I have a question. Are there existing monument signs already out there?
Yes, they've been,
So are those being modified as a part of this particular petition?
some of the areas where there's a copy on the signs already. But for the most part, every one of them are gonna stay the same way they are.
So the signs are gonna stay the same size, it's just gonna be what you put on those particular signs.
Correct.
So you have one at the corner of Calumet and Superior, then one at the first entrance, the one at the second entrance. So those are gonna remain the same? And are we
Some
just gonna
of the,
jam as much information on there as we possibly can?
well, some of the copy will change and, they've, incorporated some more, verbiage for the front of the building there. It used to be a cancer center, entrance, and now they've turned it into medical arts. So there's some of that copy that's gonna have to be added to the smaller, monument sign.
Okay, thank you. What about building signage? I mean, there's continuation of additional buildings can keep going up. So right now, how many sides and are there renderings of those particular locations? And are they changing any existing signage?
There may be some, we're assuming that this portion of the meetings is that we are coming in here with a general description of what we're trying to do. And then we're going to, at the next meeting, show you exactly how it will all turn out. This here is just a general sense of what we're attempting.
So did I miss on that package that where the signage on the buildings are being proposed as a part of this request?
Some of them were placed on there, but not all of them are gonna be exactly how you saw.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What building, I mean, what actual structures are having signage? What's new versus existing?
That would be easier to color code, but it's not color coded like that, you know?
So, that's one question, because part of the signage package is not just the monuments and the sticks within the project in and of itself, but also what's on the building and how it's illuminated and what's that plan as it pertains to current structures and new structures. Is the signage the same for the medical center as it is for the oncology center and the
Mr. Baker, if I could, I don't want to distract from their presentation, but I do want to make something clear that you're all focusing on. Bluntly, I don't care what the pictures show.
I just want to know
It
what they're putting on the building.
I understand, but I just want to clarify this.
Do you
You are not-
hear what they're putting on the building?
In reading the text of the PUD amendment, that is all that matters. So if it's not in that body, you are not approving the photos. You are not approving the site plan. You're not approving the development plan. It
Correct.
is in the text of Exhibit B, I believe this is. It's right, Exhibit B. So if it is in a photo and it is not in that text, or I'm sorry, if it's in one of the other exhibits, bluntly, I'm just assuming you didn't have those to even review and look at, because it is the text of this body. So no one can come back later if this is approved or not approved and say, but we showed you a picture and you proved it. That is not what is a PUD amendment. The amendment is this text document that's in Exhibit B. So I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. If it is not drafted in there, that picture doesn't matter. Likewise, if the text says something and then they decide to put it in a different location, but it meets this ordinance, they are compliant.
So let me rephrase my question. What is the signage size on top of the buildings or on the side of any of the buildings, current or proposed?
I don't have that. Do you have that, Cal? I wasn't ready for that. We didn't think that was gonna be part of this conversation.
The next conversation.
Yeah.
correct?
It's in the draft.
Yeah, here, I'm
I'm
reading.
looking at
I
the
mean,
draft.
Sergio already said make a motion to pass this for public hearing, so I don't know why we are banging this out when we could ask these questions during the public hearing.
I think it's in his report as well.
They might be answered at the public hearing then. As opposed to getting this answer.
So I'm reading your wall sign. I'm gonna read just your text. That's it, in context. Wall signs, channel letters, interior front lit, section A, max 4 per building, 3 elevations, max 550 square foot per elevation. Height type of building, 8 feet and 14 feet, internal illuminator backlit permitted, 7 total wall signs identified, 4 per elevation. This says status new, so these are all new signs possible. And there could be 7 total ones, all new. Is that not reading that section?
No, well, that's not true. We were,
I'm
We
just
were
trying to go
given-
contextually, you know, and literally what I'm saying, so.
The reason for the size that we've mentioned is to cover mainly the front, the one that's gonna be on the front of the building. The other ones are not gonna be nearly that big. We just wanted to cover that.
And that will be presented to us next meeting, correct?
yes,
Yeah, it says your dimensions are 7 foot high by 45 feet, 5¼ inches. Fine, right?
I honestly can't answer that.
Well, I'm just reading right here what's presented, so.
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me.
Stop handing it to you now.
Well, I give it to you, it's 550 square feet per
So
elevation.
what I can tell you is that the applicant was advised not to include the dimensions on the images, because that was going to confuse everyone. They did not. They included the dimensions on the images. The applicant was advised to focus on the PUD in the language, which you see there before you, on what is permitted. Not the exact dimensions or the size of the sign, they're looking at the square footage. So, in my recommendation, I advised that they resubmit without the dimensions of those signage and identify exactly what's there, whether it's a structure that's 11 feet, 12 feet, 6 feet high, it has to be in the PUD. The images that you submitted with those dimensions do not or are not applicable to your permit. What is applicable to your permit will be what's in the code itself. So I think what happened is you failed to follow instructions on not including dimensions into your sign package as part of your.
That's my fault. I've never done one of these before. I submitted it.
And we accepted it and we moved forward with it. And that's why we're having this discussion here this evening.
I submitted it as an example and to get advice, so.
Correct. And so, and if you understand the report, everything complies with what's in the code, except for 2 items that were not identified. And I've identified those 2 items, which is the post and counter directional signs and the other monument signs that's identified as a median. So my recommendation is that you come back to the public hearing and you clean that up.
Yes.
So,
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Which would all be submitted by the middle.
correct.
Any other questions for the petitioners or staff?
No, we'll have them next time.
Is that a motion, Councilman?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion to schedule PC 26-002, a proposed amendment to the Franciscan Alliance Plan Unit Development to establish sign standards for a May 12, 2026 public hearing with the condition that an updated PUD be submitted to the Community Development Department by April 27, 2026, including all discussion and findings.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second, any discussion?
I guess I just want to say that part of the reason why I believe we're asking these questions is so that the petitioner can be prepared for the answers to give us at the next presentation. If we don't ask the question, they may not cover those, of which then we'll send them back for another month.
You can't do that. That's my point. You can't do that.
But if you vote no, then it's not.
It would be
allowed.
taking action and then proceeding from there. Yeah.
If you vote no, you can't file for a year. Or when do you file?
I believe that falls under this. There are some things that fall within that year's time, yes, and I believe, and that's by now state code, not by your local ordinance. Off the top, I'm not sure if it's, I'll double check on the PUD amendment, but that's my point is that it takes the authority away from you being able to say to them, I want this, I want this, I want this. If they don't submit what is required as part of the application, now you're also potentially asking them for things that are outside the application requirements, so. You know, but again, it goes into that I mean, you can still make your consideration and vote however you feel at that point, but. The issue turns on what's in front of you and that you cannot continue this down the road to ask for things beyond what is an application requirement.
Then you're better off as a commission to follow the code if you can. You know?
Other than a PUD is designed for that purpose otherwise,
Yeah,
but that is that's gonna change, that is really, I understand, causes all of you, it's gonna cause a little bit of turmoil, because that is not the practice that it's been in Munster, but that is what the law is requiring, so that's what we're bound by.
I guess I'm still confused. Somewhat, it sounds like they can put down whatever they want, and we either vote yes or no. And there's no modifications or changes to it.
Realistically, that's how petitions should always be. When you don't have discretion, or when you do have discretion on some things, if somebody is code compliant, you're bound to have to approve it. And that's just not been the practice always. It's been to still negotiate. That's not always the situation. With a PUD, you obviously have more authority to do that, but it doesn't allow, the statute does not allow for municipal boards, though, to put more requirements and cause the process to run longer. You are confined to make a ruling within a period of time. Yeah. And if they have completed a full application, which is why, though, that's where Surgeon House whole focus is, and that's where I say, with all due respect, those pictures mean nothing. You are not approving those. This is a PUD amendment, so if it is not in the text of that body, and then it's just like any other zoning code, then that is the rules that are followed once they submit a permit application for sign A or sign B, and then that is up to staff to determine what they do or don't comply with. If they don't comply, then they file a variance petition with PA. It is no longer a situation where you approve by development plan, where PUDs are getting amended that way. It has to be in the text of this ordinance.
And we have staff to help them conform within our standards.
And I understand that they're trying to show you with the photos, but at the end of the day, it is that legal document, is that ordinance that is what's critical here. For the purposes of what this particular one is, what this particular application is.
In the future, any PUD ordinances really should be even highly more scrutinized than before to make sure everything is.
100%.
I mean, whether anything that affects the community, noise, pollution, light pollution, all that stuff, traffic, all that stuff has to be.
And the idea is that
Building
you
aesthetics,
pick your
all that
same
stuff.
development standards, right? And the PUD ordinance is creating a new zoning district. So it's all the standards that would apply, right, to a residential district or to a commercial district. Unless you're going to say, and you can say, it shall comply with the sign standards, or it shall comply, but where it's deficient, or sometimes not so deficient, but intentionally silent, then the default is always to the applicable code. But yes,
Now, with the new
And
ones,
that's not been
which I
passed.
follow state law, that's your expertise, new state law.
Resident, yeah.
When I know, right, layperson.
well, the state law has to do with
But
the
it's
deadlines.
also
that
new
you
state
make,
law, obviously, the planning commission still gets to review and have input on any PUD and PUD.
Absolutely. Because it's an ordinance. Because the PUD has to be, because it's legislative action, so it's a recommendation that then goes to council.
That nothing changed there.
That did not change, nope.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Be there none, Mr. Mendoza.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes,
Commissioner Brannigan.
Yes.
Commissioner Raffin.
Yes.
And Commissioner Baker.
Yes. Thank you. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Next up is the finding of facts. First one up is PC 25-016, the PUD amendment for Matt Kimball at Centennial Village to revise this Centennial Village design standards and site plan to include revisions to the sign standards and the size, location, and shape of buildings of Lot C located at 9505 Cabinet Avenue. Finding of facts, folks.
Just looking for motion.
Motion to approve PC 25-016.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Mendoza, let's call a roll for.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper. Yes. Counselor Nellens.
yes,
Commissioner Brannigan.
Yes.
Commissioner Raffin.
I'll abstain in this mirror.
And Commissioner Baker.
Yes. Next up, PC 25-017, a development plan review for Centennial Village on the conditional approval of the development plan on proposed lot 11 for a 23,299 square foot, one-story Sprouts Market building to be commonly known as 845th Street.
I'll make that motion, PC 25-017 to approve the development.
There's a motion to approve the findings of fact. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. Mr. Mendoza, I have a quick, well, this is probably for you, Miss Bennett.
Sure.
Having a little bit of experience in this world, what if the Sprouts doesn't happen? Everything says Sprouts and it's all or Chase Bank. Pick one.
Then for purposes of the development plan, they would have to come back with a new development plan for a new business because the development plan is required for any commercial structure.
So because those two businesses were specifically named, if they're not the businesses that are going to move forward, they have to come back through the process?
The owner of the property would, or whoever's the new,
So it can't
yeah, and
be
it would be,
set
it's
up.
the use, Sergio's exactly right, it's the use in that sense.
The PUD identifies the.
So it could be any bank, it could be any
bank,
grocery
grocery
store.
store.
So it could be Bill Baker Grocery.
Yes, that's what you're
Okay.
looking for.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Mr. Mendoza?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes.
Commissioner Brannigan.
Yes.
Commissioner Rathman
Yes.
and Commissioner Baker.
Yes. Next up is PC 25-018, development plan review. Mr. Kimball from Centennial Village received conditional approval of development plan on proposed lot 13, 4,270 square foot, one-story Chase Bank building commonly known as 9521 Calumet Avenue. Findings of fact.
I'll make a motion to approve ECU 25-018.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Either not, Mr. Mendoza.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes.
Commissioner Brannigan.
Yes.
Commissioner Rathman.
George, I'll abstain. Could you mark mine as abstain for the last one since I wasn't here? I said yes, but I should have. I apologize for that.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes. All right, moving right along, other business, planning commission rules and regulations.
We have
Thank you.
a draft. Thank you, Russ. Russ was on.
Thank you, guys.
online.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna mute him. All right. So, he's out. We have a draft copy with lines and suggestions of the rules and regs. In there, we identified Senate Bill 425, some of the actions that Attorney Bennett was just referring to with regards to changes at the state and when that became effective. We incorporated that along with other Indiana code requirements, state code requirements as part of your rules and regs, so that way moving forward, you have something. Again, this is just a draft. You got underlining strike throughs based on what fits best for the community. And then again, what has been amended or new to the state statute in support of those actions. So I have a copy here if you like. You take one, or I can send you the electronic version. However, there's highlights, there's things that it's a working draft per se, but if you'd like to have some comments on that and or have any ideas of what else we could add to this document, please feel free to share.
I love a copy electronically, please.
Okay.
Yeah, just send it.
Me too. All right.
Me
I
too.
want a paper copy.
Girl.
I'll get you two papers.
And could you bind it?
No, we don't have money for that. He needs to save 10%.
What's the
No.
percent now?
No paper clips,
No printer.
no printer, no.
We're gonna have scribes.
Actually, I'd like to have a hard copy.
Let's see, he's
Put in my
creating a
mail.
problem. Yep.
Only because I try to print something off these and now they're different PDFs and all this, and I can't get them and.
Yeah.
World's changed.
I can get you, here's a copy of this evening for you.
Thanks.
All right, next, is the regular meeting is on May 12th, more springtime, 2026, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Either none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much for helping us improve the town of Munster.
Thank you so much. That kid did for the sons. Well, they got some, get from us, we.
I saw it.
Here's some back, here's some back.
As central, yourself, yourself in the.
Yeah.
Are we off mic?
Good one, one second.
It's a lot of.